My name is Michael Mastro. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to talk about Saturn retrograde, which is happening from June 29th to November 5th. So generally, Saturn has to do with discipline, focus, limitation. Um, it has to do with karmic debt, old issues that now during retrograde, that's like review, reflect, go over old issues that haven't been resolved. They may resurface from the past to be completed, and letting go of things that may no longer serve us. So it's nothing to be afraid of. It just means during this time, things that usually came to you quite easily may need a little bit more hard work and discipline to be completed, especially, things that having to do with your career and your finances. So, it's a good time. Remedies for this period are, being very disciplined and regular with your meditation and your yoga, spending time in nature. All of these things will be very good to do. So just to go through each 12 signs and to see how it might affect you. For the rising sign, now this is Vedic Sidereal Zodiac, not tropical Western Zodiac, but for Aries, Saturn will be, well, for all 12 signs, it'll be in the sign of Aquarius, but for the Aries, it'll be in your 11th house, aspecting your first, fifth, and eighth houses. So this will affect relationships with friends. It'll affect your ability to manifest. It'll affect what happens during retrograde is, so these maybe old friends will resurface, and maybe there's some unresolved issues with those friends. So that's a time to reflect and see if you can't resolve those issues. For Taurus, and some issues may come up with career to be resolved as well. For Taurus, Saturn will be in your 10th house, aspecting the 12th, the 4th, and the 7th house. So 10th house is primarily about career and money that you gain from your career. So this is a time to reflect on certain things about your career that to look at your career goals and to make sure that you're doing everything, you're working hard and being disciplined about any issues within your career that may not be in alignment with your goals and your values. Time to be healed. So then for the sign of Gemini, if that's your rising sign, Saturn will be in your 9th house, aspecting 11th and 3rd and the 6th house. So 9th house has to do with good fortune. It has to do with any opportunities. It also has to do with it also has, excuse me one second. It also has to do with taking responsibility for different things in your life that may come up to be, any kind of legal issues, making sure you're paying your taxes and things like that. So dealing with debt as well. So legal type issues. So that's a time to reflect on that and to see if you can't resolve any of those issues. Then for Cancer, Saturn will be in your 8th house. 8th house, it has to do with vulnerabilities in your life. And so overcoming those vulnerabilities. So you'll have to work harder during that period to deal with and reflect on and revisit any vulnerabilities that you haven't been able to resolve. It's a good time not to argue with people at your workplace, and avoid arguments with your loved ones and friends as well. Then for Leo, Saturn will be in your seventh house. Seventh house has to do with relationships and commitments and contracts. And so, again, this is a time to take the opportunity to resolve any issues that you might have with your relationships. Make sure that your relationships are in alignment with your goals and values, and just take a look at any unresolved issues around that. Now, there will be a period where Sun and Saturn will come together, and this is especially a good time to avoid any kind of stressful arguments as well. That'll happen in, I think, July. Then for the sign of Virgo, Saturn will be in your sixth house. Sixth house has to do with health and conflict. Again, avoid arguments, deal with any other unresolved health issues, things like that. Good time to start a health regime, but you have to make sure that you're being very disciplined about your health regime. Then for Scorpio, Saturn will be in your fifth house, aspecting 7th, 11th, and the second house. So this is a time to pay attention to your children. If there's any unresolved issues with your children, to reflect on those and try to resolve those. Also, a time to not to invest. Fifth house has to do with investments. Just be very cautious about your investments during this time. Then for Sagittarius, Saturn will be in your fourth house. It's aspecting 6th and 11th, 6th, 10th, and the first house. This is about resolving any work, home life issues, making sure that you're taking care of your commitments in both areas of your life and having some good balance there, and avoiding arguments in the workplace and at home. Then for Capricorn, Saturn will be in your second house, aspecting 4th, 8th, and 11th house. This is a good time to resolve family issues and money issues. Pay attention to your budget, watch expenditures, be very disciplined about your budget, and avoid investments during this time as well. Then for Aquarius, Saturn will be in your first house. First house has to do, it's aspecting 3rd, 7th, and 10th house. First house has to do with health and life purpose. So whatever you came here to do on this planet, you're just going to have to work a little harder during this period, be more disciplined to accomplish that life purpose, and also pay attention to your health as well, and how people perceive you, your personality. You may want to reflect on how you appear to others during this period and see what you can do to improve that. Then for Pisces, Saturn would be in your 12th house, aspecting 9th, 6th, and 2nd house. 12th house has to do with expenses and separations. And so a very good time to watch what you're spending, make sure you're only spending things that you really need, to avoid getting in more debt. Again, pay attention to trying to reflect on how you can overcome debt during this period. Since it's aspecting the 6th house, we want to avoid arguments during this period as well. So generally, again, the remedies for all 12 planets would be make sure you're being disciplined about your sadhana, your meditation, your yoga, taking walks in nature, and just know that you just have to work a little bit harder during this period to accomplish your goals. Thank you so much for listening.